Hello everyone, this is the Insomniac GM, and today is day 23 of RPG a Day. And for the subject today, it's it's what situation is your character currently in? Now, as you all know, I'm currently not in a game, but I saw there was a bonus question for RPG a Day, so I'm doing that instead, which is tell stories of 1d8 plus 1 friends and tag them. Well, I'm going to share the video with them, but I wrote down a list of my friends. I rolled a d8 and I used it as a chart and checked which friends, and I rolled an 8. So I'm going to tell you guys some brief RPG stories of 9 different friends. I'm going to use their first names just because I'm not giving their last names, and it's going to be a lot easier for all of us to keep track of, especially them. So, the first one I'm going to say, and keep in mind, I'm trying to keep these brief because there's 9 people, but the first would be Andy. Now, when it comes to Andy, we recently rolled up our Marvel Phase Rip characters, and just the look on his face when he ended up getting the powers he got, because he got Magneto's powers and Beast Boy's powers, and he's a fan of Beast Boy and a fan of Magneto, so that was a complete chance, and he somehow got both of those, and I could just tell, knowing him, he's going to take advantage of that in a good way, and just see what kind of things he does with it. So, next one is my friend Chris. Now, currently this Chris isn't playing in one of my games, but we had one moment where when I was playing Scabies, we went to a tavern, and he played like a necromancer, and I paid the staff to celebrate his birthday there, and it became a joke that nobody remembered his birthday, and he was all upset about it, but somehow Scabies knew. So we got a good laugh out of that. Now, next up, I have Bobby. Now, this is kind of more of an inside joke with the group of this game, but more so I'm counting Bobby in this because Bobby and I are the ones who joke about it the most, and it was probably started with him too, actually. No, it was started with him. Now, what that was we played a Marvel Phaser one-shot, and I cast all the villains with actors, and they cast all their characters with actors. And I casted Scarecrow with Gilbert Gottfried, and they beat him so bad, rest in peace, Gilbert Gottfried, that we ended up getting news he ended up passing away in real life the next day, and we were shocked. And he made a comment about how they beat him too hard in the game that he came into the real world. Now, people who can't take jokes are going to probably be upset about that one, but hey, we gotta laugh at some things. And I do miss Gilbert Gottfried. I love his acting in that. Now, next I have Ethan. Now, out of all the characters Ethan's played, I love his Titan. Now, his character Titan was like a samurai. And as his story went on, he fought honorably. He stood up for the group and that, and eventually he died. But was reincarnated, and out of anything he could reincarnate as, he rolled up an alien. So it just made his character even more standout-ish. And the character's still alive in my world and is wandering around to this day. But I really did like that character. Now, next I have Brandon. Now, Brandon was new to RPGs at the time, and when I brought him on board. I told him about making a backstory and kind of explain things. And I have never seen anyone work so hard on their backstory as he did, especially for somebody who's a new player. Once again, this is not a bad thing. He he tried linking it to my world. He tried setting up things to fit in. Realistically, his backstory evolved the campaign more to fit in where I wanted it to, like, what I'd like to do with it. So, and by the way, I gotta show you guys the role-playing club part in the book because I'm telling stories of friends, so here we go. Now, next I got Ben. Ben, his first time ever playing a role-playing game, he created Ford. And, oh my gosh, I have never seen a player pick up a role-playing as quickly as him. He made a cleric of the alcohol god, and he was a gunslinger, and he would shoot all of his god's problems, and he was like dead and was brought back to life from his god to finish his god's job. And I love this character. I got so many laughs. He got a critical fail at one point and when trying to comfort a child, and I just joked and said he shot a bird out of the sky. And he took this serious, so all the time when he would do speeches, he would end it with, and then I accidentally shoot a bird out of the sky. And we'd all get a laugh. He even got to the point where I sent some, Aarakocras after them. And everyone stepped aside, and they're like, this is your fight now. So next, we have James. Now, James had a character named Maple. And when it came to Maple was a druid, and as the character continued to be played, Maple started improvising things around her to build traps. So it got to the point where traps were involved with this character so much, we all started calling the character Jigsaw from the Saw movies, just because of how many traps. There was even a moment where, Maple managed to, set up a whole, bunch of traps and take down, a group of enemies who came after them and that. So, next off, we have Tristan. Now, one memory I have with Tristan is this is a rule I had in the past, but it was just a blast. I had a rule before where if players got drunk, they would trade character sheets. And so his character was being drunk and whatnot, and it was pretty funny. But he afterwards role-played the hangover afterwards, and it was so funny. He would get on people for talking too loud or freak out if there was an explosion. It was rather funny. And then lastly, we have Liz. Now, with Liz, I wish I could remember her character's name. I'm sorry, Liz. But I was a player in this game, and her character and my character had a friendly rivalry. We did not like each other as characters, but as players, we were cool with this, and we even made sure. But so there was a moment where her character's daughter, Jen, died. So I would just screw with her. I mean, we would constantly tease each other, but mostly I teased her. And we had a moment where we were inside of a building and we had to fortify it from werewolves. Well, I cast a spell on the doors to only open if you say the word, I failed Jen. So everyone just kept saying that. She was getting so mad she didn't want to get involved with using the door. And we fought off the werewolves. And then I put down Lehman's tiny hut, which is an invincible tent. And I went in it and I would let people in of they said they failed Jen. And she refused to. She would not sleep in the tent, so she had to stay on watch. And so I passed a note to the DM saying that because we're already all on edge, I cast I can't remember the name of the spell, but it's like the Invisible Servant, and I had the servant going around slamming and opening cupboards, running up and down the halls, anything to make her think the place was haunted. And she was so on edge until she realized it was a spell, and she caught on that it was me. Uh, that was one of the greatest moments for my character. But yeah, those are my stories for those friends. If you're watching, hi guys. I can't wait to have more stories to share about you guys in the future. And I love you guys. And if you're a viewer and your name wasn't mentioned in those stories, I hope to one day get to game with you guys, or one day we get to share a role playing story together. I'd love to hear your own stories down in the comments below. You take care, guys. Love ya.